This week's Muscle Car Flashback, a double threat of 1969 Cyclones.
In 1969, NASCAR was hawking only one male enhancer, American Steel. Unlike the homogeneous 150-mile-an-hour billboards running laps today, if you watched the race on Sunday, you could walk into the dealership on Monday and buy the same car that just took the checkered flag. Mercury's weapon of mass destruction in '69 was the Cyclone spoiler. But to increase its chances of taking the checkered flag, it needed a little help.
During the late 60s, there was a real development happening as far as aerodynamics in NASCAR racing.
A more aerodynamic front end was needed, but NASCAR mandated that at least 500 cars be made available to the public in order to race on the track. And the spoiler with its W-nose front end was a far cry from an aero nose car. The solution? Build a new spoiler.
The other car was the Spoiler 2, which had a hand-built aerodynamic front end.
The Spoiler 2 had to be built fast, and the opening races were quickly approaching. Cyclone spoilers were rolled off the assembly line and were taken into tents outside the factory for a nose job and some lipo.
The stock fenders were cut off in about this location, cut off here, and this piece hand-built and added on.
A Torino grill took the place of the old one, and some Ford van lights were tossed behind it since the new front bumper had no openings.
It's actually the rear bumper, which is taken and cut into 3 sections, re-welded, put a little V in it.
But it wasn't just the front end that needed some improvement. Spoiler 2s had to have the same ride height as their racing counterparts. NASCAR took that measurement from the rocker panel to the track.
By rolling this in and raising it, it allowed the race cars to be lowered an inch in all reality to achieve the distance that's on the spoiler. That allowed the cars a good several miles an hour on the super speedways and much better handling by being closer to the ground.
These cars came equipped with a 351 Windsor backed by a 3-speed automatic transmission. Outside, 2 paint schemes. The Dan Gurney Special was white with a blue top, and it was sold on the West Coast, while the Cale Yarborough Special was white with a red top, and it was sold east of the Mississippi. The W-nose spoiler was available with any engine transmission combination and was also made limited numbers as a Gurney or Yarborough Special. From the back, these cars look identical, and they are. The sloping fastback design smoothly directs air over the top of the car to the rear deck lid-mounted spoiler, which gives these Cyclones their name. Either one of these cars would make a great addition to any collection, but only the most diligent of Mercury collectors would have one of each. Richard Fleener spent years searching for both of these cars. His Spoiler 2 is a Dan Gurney, and the spoiler, it's a Cale Yarborough.
And until we bought this car, we had never seen a Cale Yarborough car in person.
This extremely rare Merc is one of only 41 Cale Yarborough spoilers that was ever made, with a 428 Cobra jet and only one of 10 known to still exist. A C6 automatic was bolted up to handle the conservatively rated 335 horses. And the complete package rolls on a set of 14-inch wheels. Punch the throttle, and nearly 2 tons of steel will race through the quarter mile in less than 14 seconds, with 0 to 60 times right around 6 ticks. That's, of course, if you can handle it.
You have to drive it. You don't just take and guide it down the road. You have to drive it all the time.
The bright red interior matches the color scheme outside. Bench seats, front and rear, make room for the driver, plus 5 more adrenaline junkies. It's hard to miss a sight like this, but in case you're not paying attention, the high flow exhaust that came standard on both spoilers should turn your head. Nowadays, you can still buy your favorite stock car, but I wouldn't recommend picking a fight with one of these at a red light. Stick around, more Muscle Car after the break.